was 2013 actually. November 1st, the changes to the bylaw came into effect. We added standards of care, significant descriptions of requirements for pets, including appropriate care, food, water. We also added tethering with respect to the length of the tether, that type of thing, shelter requirements, and always having access to shelter, outdoor enclosures, and then bedding requirements, ventilation requirements, significant changes to our bylaw with respect to care.
What would be the type of urgent call you would get from just regular people?
We had actually received a number of calls about Taz at the time. That in essence he had been abandoned, that the residents had moved out, he wasn't being fed, neighbors were feeding him for days. That time I took it upon myself to go out with my officers, and he could not reach down to the bottom of the stairs, so had to do his business up there. His water was actually rainwater. We gave him food. We returned the following day, and his conditions were the same despite the notice we had left, which obviously had not been taken. So we proceeded to the courts to seek a search warrant to take him into protective custody.
So he had been tethered with a choke collar, like a metal choke collar. And because he had been tethered at such a young age on that collar for so long, it actually caused some inflammation in his in the spinal column near his neck. So that caused him to have some neurological symptoms.
And during his growth, he was a young dog.
This looks to me like this contributed to the neurological
Definitely.
problem.
Yeah. His legs were splayed, and they were dragging on his knuckles.
And during that period too, he was missing all of his critical socialization, right?
Correct.
Right.
So this picture shows the color on his coat that signifies malnourishment. He was quite malnourished.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was him. He was tethered there. He could not reach down those
And of
steps.
course he had no shelter from the elements.
All those aspects of our bylaw and those significant changes that we made that I was able to speak to in my information to request a search warrant. The length of the tether, it didn't meet the requirements. The fact that he couldn't reach the water, everything. So we presented our information, and
How long does that process take?
actually at the point that we presented, it was a matter of within an hour we got the warrant.
Okay.
He was taken to a vet. We did some assessments. Thankfully, we were able to get him into foster home, where he remained and just flourished for approximately 4 months. We needed to have that time span between, and then we did an MRI and took him back to the vet, and he had significant improvements. And then Taz was ultimately adopted.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So he's just visiting today.
He's visiting. I borrowed him for the day.
Look at that happy face. He's so
He really
beautiful.
is. And it's so remarkable too, when dogs are mistreated that way, how they can just be normal, happy, beautiful family pets.
It's a full army to get that dog or that cat or whatever animal back into safety, security, well-being.
You can help this animal and get them adopted into a loving home. It's fabulous.
It's a real victory. I mean, he gets his happy ever after, right? Yeah, it's amazing work. Really great visiting, girls. Thanks.
Oh, that was fun. I told you it would be fun.